Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the EDF Sports Podcast. Today is a special day because tomorrow is one of the best days of the year to me. Now, I know a lot of people love the NFL, and I like me some NFL too, but to me, there is nothing like the NBA draft. Like it, it signifies the season's about to come. We're about to get summer ball. We're about to then go into training camp. Like basketball season is here when we get to this draft. Am I right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right.
And then NBA off seasons become as fun as NBA real season because you get free agency, you get disgruntled superstars on a yearly basis coming out, and big trades happening. And of course, I love seeing people who've worked their whole lives recognize their dreams. That goes for any draft because the hard work pays off, and it's an emotional time to celebrate with you and your family, and then it's time to get to work. Because now you're representing a professional sports organization. You're getting paid the big bucks. So it's go time for these kids from the jump. Like, their summer starts tomorrow night, and I couldn't be happier for them. It's that feeling every year. You just can't help but feel happy for them.
You know what? It's great because of what you said. That and first of all, thank you. That's Liam Sarginian. Did I say that right?
Sagarian.
So Gary, God, I knew I was going to butcher
Doesn't
that.
matter.
Okay,
Doesn't
and
matter.
Lamar Fields. That one I can't butcher. So Lamar's up there. I'm glad you said that though, Liam, because I was on with a bunch of the top draft picks over the last couple of days as they did their media things, and the two things that really stuck out to me was just that how much of them are waiting for this moment for their family. You know, the whole idea of being there, of experiencing this. Each one of them to a T talked about how much they're waiting on that. And unsurprisingly, the other thing they were everyone 100% was key for. They're going to be on NBA 2K. So
Yeah.
no
That is
more
true.
no more creating
True.
your player, right? It's just you.
Yeah, right. You're there.
So yeah, that signifies that you have made it, right? What do you think about the draft, Lamar?
I think it's going to be an interesting draft. I think it could be a lot of movement with trades. That's what I'm excited to see if there's going to be any trades that go down and player movement. And
See,
it's cool seeing all these young kids having their dream come true, and smile and shake hands with the commissioner and all that this year. So
yeah.
it'll be pretty nice to see.
See, and what you said too, that makes so much sense. We talk so much, and I don't know, like I'm sure you guys have done this too. I've looked at 40 different mock drafts, and you're looking at everything. Everybody's got this thing, and we forget about all those trades. And you
Yeah.
have teams like Oklahoma City, you have teams like Golden State Warriors, right? Um, Liam, do you not see there being a bunch of trades happen this time?
I think that there could be a lot of hectic things happening because a lot of teams want to move into the top 10. The teams in the top 10 want to move higher. Both the Magic and the Warriors have 2 lottery picks. The Rockets have 3 first-round picks total, including the number 2. It's just a lot of crazy congestion and a lot of random scenarios that could go down for the deepest draft that we've seen since what? Like it's probably the deepest draft since literally 2003. Now, am I saying it's going to be as good as 2003? No, but
Right.
it's probably the deepest, from a prospect pool since 2003. Like, there's a reason people want to get into the top 10. The Grizzlies just traded to the 10, and that's like a good spot. Usually, the NBA draft tapers off at picks 5 or 6. This draft is going 10 deep. And if Davion Mitchell falls or Jalen Johnson, who's pretty raw, Keon Johnson, pretty raw,
Yes.
they're going to fall. They're going to end up being good players that you're going to get at pick 17, pick 13. That doesn't happen in every NBA draft.
Can
So
you
there's gonna be a
imagine?
lot of movement, a
Can
lot
you
of movement.
imagine being down that low and getting Mitchell? I mean, the
Yeah.
defensive player of the year.
Listen,
The guy
David,
is phenomenal.
you guys have watched the league as long as I have. Davion Mitchell is the consummate Grizzly or Indiana Pacer. So he's going
Yeah.
at 10 or 13, I promise you.
Somebody just said, "Can I tell you a secret?"
I don't know where that came from.
I know this is really all right. No, I agree, and the guy is. plays out of his mind, and the fact that he hasn't been thought of or moved up like that. And it's crazy too, because if you notice how some players, and there's a couple of them in here right now that are creeping into that top 5, who, man, you just watch them start climbing that ladder, and they were down here, and all of a sudden now they're at number 5 when they were at 10.
How about James Booknight? He went from the 18 to 23. Now he's a top 7 pick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know why? That man has
He
been
shot the lights out.
tearing it up. Yes, he has not. They said, well, what, that one time he went 20, 30 some in a row with this one thingy without even blinking, and it has been said right now he's the best shooter in this draft. I'll tell you one thing, he's not short of confidence.
No.
So, he's got that going for him. He can play defense. So that's going to help him out big time. I don't know if he's a great defender, but he does have some defensive skills. At Connecticut, they needed that, right?
Yeah.
So let's just go ahead and start with the NBA draft. And I'm going to go to number 1 real quick because
I really don't know what keeps happening.
we got somebody else with us, and that's okay. Let's let them come in with us. They can jump in and say what they want to when the time comes. But can we all agree on number 1? I mean, I've not been big on Cade Cunningham all year. Me and Lamar knows. We went back and forth on some games that he had all year long, and I'm just not sold on him. I think his size and his play, to me, there's a ton of them in the NBA just like him. But in saying that, that's why I'm not a GM of any team, obviously, and he'll probably go number 1. Am I correct?
Yeah, so I think he goes number 1. I'm going to disagree with you. I see like a lot of potential in him. Now, I think like he's not the most intriguing prospect to me. The most intriguing prospect is Evan Mobley, but I think the best prospect is Cade, and that's because you have an efficient 3-level scorer who has, the true ability to run an offense. And that's, a coveted thing coming out of college for a rebuilding team like a Detroit Pistons or a Houston Rockets or a Cavaliers or whoever's trying to get, to that number 1 pick, where I don't think the Pistons are going to trade out of it.
No.
So, they need someone who can be a 3-level scorer, who can initiate their offense. And he's 6'8", and he's a pretty good athlete. He has the body to become a good NBA defender with a little bit more muscle and hustle and effort, which is a lot of what the defensive end is. I think he's a really, really fantastic prospect as far as like all around game, because like I said, he can become a good NBA defender with a little work and a little elbow grease. And the more and more he improves on his offensive game in a space that should allow him to thrive and let him develop like Detroit, I think he's going to become a star. And I don't think he could be going to a better place, because it's a place that needs a scoring small forward, right? And needs a guy who can really get them going. They don't have Reggie Jackson and Andre Drummond anymore. They're working with Killian Hayes and Sekou Degamboya and who am I forgetting? Jeremy Grant. And who is their other rookie last year that played really well?
I know you're talking about, but I can't think of his name right now.
Can't think of his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
that's a good core. That's a good core with a former coach of the year in Dwayne Casey, who just the other week Terrence Ross was advocating for him when I asked him about him, because I was Terrence Ross's coach for a long time in Toronto.
Right. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, and I could see him doing good, especially. To me, that might be the only good spot. But Lamar, tell me, because I know that you're high on him too, right?
Yeah, some of the games I watched, I was kind of like blah about him, but then I watched the game, I think in the Big 12 tournament, and he went off and scored 40 points. That's what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
His size is going to be a big key factor. Whatever he lack in athletic ability, his size can make up for it. But
so is he just a better Ben Simmons?
No, because Well, no, because Ben Simmons can't score and will never be able to score like Cade can. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure if at Cade's defensive peak he could ever do what Ben Simmons can do defensively, because Ben Simmons is just a better pure athlete. I think they're two different players. I don't think you can look so much at the mold, and you have to look more at the skill set. Also, the player on the Pistons I was forgetting was Sadiq Bey.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's what.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think I like
Right.
Cunningham like a little bit less athletic Grant Hill, I would say.
Okay. Okay, I could see that actually. Yeah, I could see that.
I don't know what his game necessarily reminds me of, because I think is he Kevin Durant? No, but he has the overall skill set or package of skills like a Kevin Durant.
Like
He
kind of like Brandon Ingram.
can score from anywhere on the court, can get in the paint and get a shot off in the paint.
That's another
Um,
one.
but it's in a different way than Kevin Durant. Obviously, it wasn't a great comparison player to player, but more
Right.
package to
Right.
package.
But we can all agree that he's going to go number one, right? Detroit ain't going to. Detroit's
I
not
think
about to pass
he has
that up,
to.
right?
No, I don't think so.
I think he has to, and
Okay.
like even if he doesn't go number one, right? Don't be a Sixers from a few years ago where you trade the house to get Markelle Fultz at 1 when Boston was going to take Jason Tatum at 1 regardless. Don't get played like that. And if you want Evan Mobley or Jalen Green at number 1 instead of Cade Cunningham, still take Cade Cunningham and then try and
Make a
trade
trade.
for more later. Kind of
Right.
like what the Giants and Chargers did. The Chargers
Mhm.
drafted Eli Manning, didn't want to go there, able to get a large
Right.
haul for Phillip Rivers later in the draft.
Right. Okay. I mean, all that makes sense. So let's move on to number 2, because that's where it gets. I mean, not really, but that's where it starts to get more choices at the number 2 spot. So that's the Rockets, obviously. Lamar, who do you think the Rockets are going to go for?
I would take Mobley, but I think they're going to take Jalen Green because they already got Christian Wood. Green is a good explosive guard, can score and dangerous in open court. Kind of, he's 6'6", but only weigh like 185 or something like that. So he kind of
Right.
small on the weight side, but yeah, he can score, and
It's a theme this year.
that's what they need.
Right. Who do you see the Rockets going for, Liam?
Jalen Green's an electric athlete, and he's an awesome scorer.
Mm.
And if you really think about it, both Jalen Green and Evan Mobley are really good fits on the Rockets for what they have going with Christian Wood, with
Right.
Kevin Porter Jr., right? So they couldn't really go wrong either way. But I'm with Lamar. I think they take Green, even though I would take Mobley. And the reason I would take Mobley is because while you're not at a loss for taking Green, and you do need that, small forward position again filled, and he's a hyper athlete, Evan Mobley just has a different sort of skill set than like we've ever seen. He kind of reminds you, like, there's so many different things that he like reminds you of, like a Joel. He could be like not as dominant as Joel Embiid, but like Joel Embiid's skill set with better passing.
I see AD.
Nikola Jokic, yeah, there
Same
you go.
thing I see.
Anthony Davis's skill set, but like with better passing, or Nikola Jokic's skill set
Okay.
with more athleticism and better on defense. Like it's a lot of
He does.
combinations that he fits in as just this really raw prospect who's going to become a better shooter. He has a really nice stroke for his size, and I think that you could get like a potentially all-time defensive front court with as far as mobility and being able to rim protect and stretch the floor a little bit on defense with him and Christian Wood. And they wouldn't take up each other's space too much on offense because Mobley can stretch out and so can Wood. So they could actually play 1 in, 1 out and alternate there and cause defensive fits.
Right.
So I would take Mobley. I just think that the intrigue of that roster construction is too good to pass up for a young GM like Raphael Stone, who's got to nail this pick.
Right. For me, I think they're going to take Green also. And I'm going to just say this right now. I feel Green is going to be the most dominant rookie in the NBA this year. And it's because he has this. First of all, he's got mad skills. I mean, I don't know. He is God, how can I forget this guy's name? Detroit Pistons great. Joe Dumars. I
Dumars.
mean, the guy where he could score. He could score down low. He could score out here, and he's done it against talent that is higher quality than he would have been playing in college, and he dominated in that G League. So to me, I just see him as coming in, and he's going to be he's going to be one of those best ones. But I agree everything that you said, Liam, about Mobley, because that guy is going to be fanatic too, and his size and the things that he can do are so intriguing that when you see guys like Joker doing what he's doing now at his size, for a little lesser of it, Nurkic even, um, it intrigues you when you see a guy like that, who you could get for sure. So in saying that too, though, should we just pencil him in then? If Green does go to the Rockets, then Cleveland would be a fool to pass up on Mobley, right?
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah.
taking Mobley at 3.
And wouldn't that look nice too? I mean, I've not been a big Cleveland fan, but come on, wouldn't that look nice with him and
So that would even be better defensively, like than I said, than Wood and Mobley. But the thing that you're losing with Jared Allen is the ability to stretch on offense with the two of them on the court at the same time, like you can with Christian Wood, because Jared Allen needs to rim run, like with a high pick and roll and rim run, or just stay closer under the basket. So then that would basically delegate Mobley to almost full-time stretch position unless he too is rim running. So I think that the fit isn't as good as it is with Christian Wood,
right.
but defensively I think it's better. And if they're trying to move Sexton right and have a Garland and Mobley centered attack with Jared Allen in there too to clean things up, offensive boards, play decoys, set high screens, like that's something good going there. I just think it might get a little congested.
I could see what you're saying there, but at the same time too, I mean, like you said, Lamar, they would have to be crazy to pass him up, right? I mean, that what he could bring to a team that needs that, first of all.
Yeah.
But him and Sexton together, to me, I think that's where you're starting to build that Murray Jokic thing.
Here's an idea. Here's an idea. What if OKC comes in, because they tried to get the 1 pick. They offered the 6 and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to Detroit for the 1, and they said no. So what if they came in with that same offer, the 6 and Shai for the 3, so OKC can then grab Mobley?
Yeah.
I'll feel bad for Mobley. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what OKC trying to do. 1 minute they're getting all these picks, then the next last year wasn't named untouchable. This year they willing to move them. So
I have a feeling if OKC can't get the top end prospect they want, then they're going to draft a lot of raw prospects as the order goes on, because they also have 3 first-round picks, if I'm not mistaken. They do, and Houston does. So it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of thought process by Sam Presti, going forward in the draft. Yeah, but if we're saying the Cavs keep the pick, it's Evan Mobley. It's not even close.
There's just so many ways that the Thunder can go. There's just so many ways they can go with what they have. It's crazy. Okay, so we're going to pencil him in then at Cleveland. We've got the 1, we got the 2, we got the 3. And I don't think I've seen many that's varied too much from that, actually. And maybe like you guys said, that 2 and that 3 maybe flip-flop if
there's definitely a chance,
depending on how they play or whatever. But now we go to number 4, and we got those Raptors, right? What are they going to lose somebody that they had forever, or what's going to happen with the Raptors? So Lamar, tell me what you think they're going to do, because I got a guy I think I know exactly who's going there myself. But go ahead.
Kind of hard to say. I've been going back and forth on the Raptors, but I'm leaning towards I think Jalen Suggs, possibly.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just go ahead and let you. That's who I believe they're going for too.
I think they're gonna get Suggs.
I think I've had word they fell in love with him when he was there, and he kind of fits if you think about it. If they're going to lose Kyle, right? Then Suggs is going to fit. If they're going to lose Jalen, then Suggs is going to fit. So I think they're going to go with Suggs. I think they fell in love with him when he was there, and he kind of fits if you think about it. If they're going to lose Kyle, right? Then Suggs is going to fit. then
Yeah.
I mean, but not only that, but listen, the guy can play, right? I mean, he can shoot, he can play defense, he can do that. Now, his lack of size may hurt him as well, but that's why I said I think that's a theme in this draft. Actually, there's a lot of 190, 180-pound guys in this draft right now. Um, but Liam, tell me what you think about the Raptors.
Yeah, I think the Raptors take Suggs knowing that they're losing Lowry. And, there's a chance that you even trade a Van Vliet or a Gary Trent, right? So then you
Yeah.
have your backcourt of Jalen Suggs and Van Vliet if you keep them, or Gary Trent if you trade Van Vliet. And that's what you go forward with. I heard they might be trying to get Siakam off too. So this is like a full-scale rebuild. And it starts with this kid, Jalen Suggs, who is a total bombs away. He's fearless. He played high school football. He's a tough
Yes,
kid.
he
He's
did.
tough-minded. He's smart and he's savvy. And don't discredit playing for Gonzaga. Like, Mark Few is a very, very intelligent coach who puts people in
100%.
great positions to win. The presumptive number one pick next year, Chet Holmgren, he was high school teammates with Jalen Suggs. Jalen played a big part in him going to Gonzaga. He's going to dominate this year, going forward. And I trust Jalen Suggs as a player. He's got that moxie about him that, it's hard to see him failing if he's going to put in the work. And, he's a 1 or 2 pick in any other draft. Just like, Jalen Green and Evan Mobley are 1 or 2 picks in every other draft as well.
Right.
This draft has 4 number 1 picks, 3 number 1 picks, 4 number 1 picks.
Right.
This is a steal at number 4. The Raptors should just, be blessed to end up with any of them, any of them.
So
The thing with Suggs too, he's kind of small, but he plays strong.
yeah, he does. He knows how to get to the hole. He uses his body well.
He goes hard in the paint. He doesn't care. Like, he's John Morant. He's fearless. He's not the athlete, but he's John Morant fearless.
And he sure loves himself. So yesterday he said, when he was asked what he could work on, he said he didn't have any faults. So, there's that. He said he would not forgive anybody who did not draft him.
Yeah, I saw that clip.
Any of those teams that did not draft him, he remembers things like that. He feels like he is the best player in the draft, 100%. So I like it. I like the attitude. I think you can't come into a pro league if you do not believe that you belong there.
Well, you said that you said he doesn't forget things like that. He's only going to have to remember 3 names. I've seen Draymond Green rattle off 34 names in a row of the teams that passed on him in the second round. So you got a little work to do, Jalen. You got a little work to do.
Right? I mean, yeah. That's good. That's good for him, right? Because he doesn't have but 3 teams to worry about that ain't going to get him. But I do see the Raptors taking him, and I believe that he is going to succeed greatly in Toronto if that's the way they choose to go with keeping him. Because, like you guys said, there's so much going on. Who knows what's going to happen or where anybody ends up? But for our sakes of right now, I think he ends up in Toronto, and I think he's going to be one of those players again that's probably be talked about as the rookie of the year. He's just that kind of guy. He's that kind of player, and I could see him doing what a lot of these rookies nowadays and these young guys have all been doing. Right? They come into this league anymore, and nobody's scared. Nobody's playing that fear game anymore. So I like him. I like him. Now, here we go, guys, because this is the one where you guys are probably going to have a much different opinions. But it's number 5. It's the Magic. So, Lamar, tell me what you think the Magic are going to do.
I got Scotty Barnes going to the Magic. I like his defense versatility, and he can play make a little bit, and his shooting from the outside is getting better. I think it'd be a perfect pick for the Magic, in my opinion.
Okay, go ahead, Liam. Tell me what you think.
I'm
What the
also
Magic going to do at 5?
I'm also going with Barnes. And a couple weeks ago, I was thinking Kaminga. But, I think Kaminga's draft stock has fallen a little bit as Barnes has slowly risen. Because, Barnes was in that 6 to 8 range, but now he's almost like kind of, I don't want to
Very
say
much.
locked in at 5, but like I think he's very probable to go at 5. And like I think if the Raptors messed up, which Masai Ujiri doesn't do much, but I think there's a chance he even went to 4. In which case the Magic would be happy to have Jalen Suggs, right? But Scotty Barnes, I think you see a lot of Jonathan Isaac and Mo Bamba in Kaminga, which kind of shies you away from taking Kaminga because like you've seen it before. Bamba and Isaac have both had trouble staying healthy, like on the court, right? You've seen people like Hashim Thabit. I know that he's not that tall, but he has that kind of build where like one, it lends itself to injury, but two, how impactful can you really be on the court in this kind of NBA game? And of course, you have to try. It's not a great reason to pass on a prospect, right? Just because you're loaded at said position. Come on, my Sixers took centers 3 years in a row, but that I think Scotty Barnes is a little different than what they've had as far as like a playmaking defensive wing, right? Because you have your scoring wings and Gary Harris and Terrence Ross. So I think this is the kind of player, you let him develop his shot a little bit, which wasn't great in college, but you give him the reins to let it fly and it'll come around and play himself into a really nice 3-and-D player. I think the Magic are really excited about it. Also, if you wanted Kaminga at 5, there's a chance you can get him at 8 now, right? So why not take the other player that you don't think will be there at 8?
Okay, I was ready to go completely on a different road until that last sentence, because the last sentence makes complete sense for me. Um, because I have them switched. Okay, and here's why. First of all, I don't know where everybody got Barnes climbing up this ladder. He did not even start in his 1 year in college. So where's the guy that started in front of him?
Devin Booker didn't start either.
He didn't have. I mean, yeah, but he didn't average. But I mean, what he has is tenacity and a lot of will. He is a energetic guy who doesn't sit down on the bench during the game. He's your number one cheerleader always, and everybody loves that kind of guy. So I understand that you want somebody like that, but do you want him at 5? Also, the Magic are loaded at that position. First of all, they love Chuma. Okay, Chuma is their golden boy, so he's going to have that position locked down. Nobody's taking that from him. He's there. He's literally their golden boy. Okay, they have so many guys. It would be the same thing as if they had the chance to take, like you even talk to Suggs. Now Suggs, I would take because he's better than the rest of them probably for sure. But they are so loaded at that position. People are forgetting it all that they have at those guard positions, and I believe in Markel like probably nobody else does, except for maybe the Magic themselves. But I seen firsthand what he was doing last year at his time, where he had numbers that was blowing away his numbers ever, except for the time that he was at Washington. He was feeling the same way. He had leadership that he didn't have before. People were listening to him. The team was feeling him. And then that happened to him. So I think he comes back and can really kill it. But anyway, so for me, I would go Kaminga because he has that style of play that they need. And then I would have took um, the FSU guy there at 8, like you said, right? But now that made so much sense what you said, because if he's not going to be there at 8 because of this rising and this up thingy that he has, and because he may offend, maybe you do take him at 5 then and wait and get Kaminga at 8. So that made a lot of sense right there saying it that way. then you get what you were
Well,
supposed to get. You get Barnes.
the NBA teams have different, have intel with other NBA teams, right? So it's not like the Magic are gonna be sitting on their hands, not communicating with everyone. The NBA war room on draft night is
For sure.
a large hub of information. So if they have any indication that Kuminga is going to be falling, because there's only 2 picks between the Magic's picks.
Yeah, that makes sense though.
And it's the Thunder and the Warriors, right? And I don't think the Warriors are looking at a Kuminga.
No,
So unless you think the Thunder are taking him at 6, you can probably get him at 8. But if you take him at 5, who's to say that Barnes doesn't go at 6 to the Thunder, which I think he might at that point, and then you don't get your 2 guys.
I think you're exactly right. I think if they pass up at 5, that he'll definitely, if they take somebody else at 5, OKC will definitely take Barnes at 6. I don't even think that would be a question right now. So I mean, again, I that last line of yours, that was perfect. I think that's exactly right, considering the situation, how it kind of flip flopped and went back. That brings us though to the Thunder, right? So let's just assume that Barnes goes to the Magic for the sake of what we're doing here. Now, who does the Thunder go after?
I really think the Thunder are going to try and make a serious play to trade this pick, whether it be like move back for more capital even and a player, or like I said, I think they might even try to move up, because it seems like they're trying to move on from Gilgeous-Alexander if they can move up. But if not, then they're going to try and build with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and in which case, then I think they go with Book Knight, because I think Book Knight's a really good pairing next to Gilgeous-Alexander. You have Moses Brown, and you got a few promising pieces, and about 73,850 draft picks over the next 6 years. So there's a lot of areas to plug holes. There's a lot of moves to be made by one of the more savvy GMs that we've seen over the past decade, and Sam Presti. Like this guy's handled superstars and this guy's handled rebuilds. He's seen it all, right? So that he knows what he's doing with these picks. And I think that if he can't move up in the draft with Shai, then he takes Book Knight to build with Shai. There's your backcourt going forward. And I think that's a really, really nice looking backcourt in a space and pace kind of league. You got your shooter and you got your playmaker who scores a lot. And Gilgeous-Alexander is really good, man. Like, he gets lost. He gets lost a lot playing in OKC, right? Or being a second fiddle on a Clippers team as a rookie. He gets lost. He's a really good player, and that would be a hell of a backcourt.
He is. I agree. Lamar?
I don't think they're going to pick there either, but I got them taking Book Knight if they do pick there. Can shoot, play a little bit defense, and fits what this NBA. The NBA is going for a lot of three-point shooting now, so I think he'll fit there, but I really don't see him. I really see him trying to move that pick, either get more picks or they'll jump up.
So do you both agree that more than likely they will trade that pick, or are they, or maybe even make a pick for a trade? That kind of thing?
I think I don't know if they move up or back, but I do think that they move out of that spot. I think that they could trade up like to, say 3 or 4 by moving Shai in the 6th pick. I think they could move back by taking in Ben Simmons and trading Shai to the Sixers. I think there's a lot of things that I think there's a lot of things on the table for the Thunder, specifically in this draft, because of the picks that they have, but also the situation they're in as a franchise.
Okay, that makes sense. That would bring us then, if we think that they're going to do that, where does that leave Golden State? Because they would be up next. And are they sitting around waiting for what Oklahoma does, or do they have a guy in mind, or do they trade themselves because they also have another pick that's not too far away, right? 14?
Yeah, I think they trading as well. I don't see them picking at the 7. They're gonna try to move up too as well.
You think they'll move up in the draft?
I think they're gonna try to. I don't know if they will, but
that's interesting, because who would they grab? Who do you think they might go get? Who fits Golden State?
Cade Cunningham.
Okay.
Yeah. But if they do,
For
I mean,
me,
Evan Mobley is, I think, what they would love James Wiseman to be.
yeah,
okay. And we know that they're not happy with him, right? So,
Right.
they might try to
um,
move him too.
You
yeah,
know, if they move that pick, him or Wiggins
that's
is
a
probably
package.
going with it, right? But
For
let's
Yeah,
sure.
just let's
sure.
for the sake of this show, just go with the pick order and assume that whoever's there just keeps the pick. And in
Mhm.
that case, for the Warriors, this is a little out of left field, but the way that they built their team hasn't necessarily always been best player available. They kind of have built their team in more of a fit, a need and fit kind of manner, which isn't the smartest way to go, but it's clearly worked for them, right, over the years. So
Mhm.
I'm going to go with Moses Moody here at 7, and here's why. The
Mm.
Warriors love offense, and they're going to be getting Klay Thompson back next year, right? And
Okay.
offense is at a premium, and you don't know how Klay's going to be coming off of an Achilles and a knee injury, right? Like on the defensive end. So this dude, not only can he hit shots and grow as a three, he's already a good 3-point shooter, right? But he's going to
Right.
grow and become better, and he has the mold of a really good 3-and-D player in the NBA. And I think that's one of the things that the Warriors are lacking, because he could be better than Andrew Wiggins, a former number 1 overall pick, because he can defend and hit the three at a better clip. And I really think that he works well next to Stephen Clay. And I don't yeah, I see the same thing in what's his name, Franz Wagner, and
Mhm.
but I don't think they take Kuminga. I don't think Davion Mitchell is the shot maker that they need. He's definitely the defender that they need. They're not going to be taking Josh Giddey. I don't think they're going for raw prospects, clearly, because they want to win now. I think
Right.
the most win now move that they could make at 7 is Moses Moody. You can slot him right into your starting lineup, but you can slot him right on your bench. He's going to provide you good 3-and-D minutes and be able to grow next to Stephen Clay, two of the 4 greatest shooters ever. He's one of the this guy's one of the top 3 shooters coming into the draft. He's just the perfect mold for the Warriors. And is it a little high for 7? Sure. Then maybe you try and trade back and still nab him at 9 or 10. But I think that's the pick, as crazy as it sounds.
Um, that's not that crazy. I mean, the guy's good, and I'll tell you what, you would break Sacramento's heart because that's Sacramento's guy. They've made it clear. They've made it unequivocally clear that that's what they're going to. Which to me, that's always crazy when you hear teams that do what Sacramento has done, because you're literally putting yourself behind to me, because now everybody's like, oh, you want that guy, do you? You know?
Right.
Maybe I take him and let you have him later for something more than he's worth, right? But in any way, I mean, I agree with you, and there's a lot of people out there who agree with what you said. The guy has that kind of skills, so he could definitely fit up there. I think I'm with Lamar a little bit. I think Book Knight would be the guy to come in there, and I think he would be able to learn great. His shooting style, his thing fits in with what the Warriors do. And if Clay can't, there's been a lot of talk about whether or not Clay's going to come back or not. I've seen the GM of the Warriors himself say he didn't believe he was going to come back, at least before Christmas at the earliest. So you're going to need somebody to stand next to him who can shoot
yeah.
the
They
lights out.
Wait, who did
And
you have going to OKC?
what's that?
Who did you have going to OKC?
OKC. Uh, I had Barnes because I took Kaminga
Oh, okay,
at
gotcha.
5, so I just assumed, like I said, I didn't think Barnes would last past that if they ended up doing that. But then I said they would also. It'd probably be the switch of the way there.
Right.
But yeah, so I see it as Book Night. If they keep it, but I'm a little bit like both of you. I don't know if they're going to keep it either. I think they got so many plans that they have for what they have, and they're in a unique position too to be as good as they are. And even though they didn't make it very far or whatever, we know they've got the skill, they got the people, they got, if Steph turns it back on, all that. So they're in a unique position to do a lot of different things themselves, make the trades, take the picks. They can do whatever they really want to right now too. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do there. Then we got the Magic again back at 8. So let's just
Lamar,
assume.
who do you have for the Warriors taking?
Oh,
Warriors.
I thought he said Book Night. My fault. Go ahead, Lamar.
No, I got I'm gonna go with Moody as well. You talking me into that pick? I think so. To be good.
Very persuasive. What can I say?
Yeah. 'Cause I didn't really think about the Warriors drafting there, so I didn't really have nobody there. But yeah, I like Moody there. Good upside and for the Warriors, and the Warriors trying to win now, so they won't. If they do pick that, they're going to want somebody that's going to play by their way.
Right. We're gonna have to send this tape to Moody and let you be his hype man there, Lamar, after this one, right? So now we got the Magic back at 8. Are we all just gonna say if Kuminga's there, then that should be the obvious choice for them? I think. I think he's the fifth because his body, his style of play, he is a little bit raw, but I mean, he played against the guys too with the great talent, and he succeeded very well in the G League. So
I don't really see an argument for any other pick. Like I'm higher on Davion Mitchell than other people seem to be, but if you're gonna take Barnes at 5, then you're not gonna take Davion Mitchell. They kind of slot into the same, kind of player. Franz Wagner almost the same way. And then you're talking about the raw prospects like Keon Johnson, Jalen Johnson. You're talking about Josh Giddey, who you don't need a point guard. So yeah, I think Kuminga is just the pick. Like there's no other way around it.
right, Lamar, you agree?
Yeah, Kuminga.
Okay, that brings us to Sacramento, who, like I said, for me, everything that I've read, Sacramento's put it all on the table. They want Moody, so hopefully nobody else gets him above that. But if he is there at 9, I can almost guarantee they will take him at number 9. What do you see them doing at 9 since you have Moody already gone, Liam?
I think that I know that the Kings were also very big fans of Franz Wagner. So at this point, then I think that that'll be their pick because it looks like they're trying to move on from Heald, right? Like that's the way it seems because I don't think they want to run 3 guard lineups. Like you saw that experiment with the Suns kind of failed disastrously 6 or so years ago. I don't think they want to be running a 3 guard lineup of Halliburton, Fox, and Heald. And while Franz Wagner is a shooting guard, he's a shooting guard that you can bring off your bench. Buddy Hield, you really shouldn't be bringing off your bench. So I think, is it a 1-for-1 swap? No, but is it the way that the Kings should go? Yes, because there's not a dominant big man on the board for them to take at this current moment, unless they want to go into the territory of the unknown and take Sengun. Maybe I'm saying his name wrong. Alperen Sengun. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say his name, but he's the top center in this draft after Mobley, right? So I don't think that it warrants the pick at 9. So I would go with Wagner, assuming that you move Heald, but that does just it doesn't really do much for them moving forward. But it is the Kings, and they never really do much for themselves moving forward.
Yeah. And I agreed. I don't think Hield's going to be there for camp even. So, but Lamar, tell me what you think Sacramento's going to do.
I got them taking Wagner. I think he would fit well there. He can score. He can handle the ball a little bit, and he can play defense. Kings needed defense. Their defense was not very good last year.
He's a tough guy too.
Yeah.
He's a tough guy. He's gonna fit in the game very well.
Yeah, I know a lot of Kings fans up here don't want him. I've been listening to local radio up here since I'm in the Sacramento area. So
yeah,
they don't know the Kings fans up here don't know who they want.
I was just about to say. I mean, the Kings. I would be almost sad to see anybody end up until they get themselves straight. They used to be such a great franchise at one time. Mm-hmm. So now we have Memphis, who did move themselves up in at the number 10 spot. And this is about as far as I think we'll take this today is at 10, guys. But Memphis moved up there, and I believe they moved up there for a reason. Again, they kind of like Sacramento. They kind of showed their hand a little bit. But who do you think they're going to take, Lamar? Who does Memphis move up and they grabbed?
Oh, Memphis. I've been all over for them. I've been all over the place for them too. Go let Liam go first. Give me a minute.
No, you know what? I want Paul to go first. You said they did it for a reason. What's the reason? What's the reason?
The reason is Gidley.
Why?
Is that they just love his play. They love his play. They think that he is going to fit next to Jaw, and that it's going to be that kind of dynamic thing. They have expressed that he's the best top prospect from Europe, if you will.
Australia, right?
Yeah, I was going to say Australia. I don't know, didn't know how to put that into that, but you're right. It's a whole totally different continent there. But so the top, I just meant like as far as overseas. I should have just said that instead of an American prospect. But they believe he's the top one, and that he's got the I dare to say the Luca-ness in him, but I think that's what they're counting on. So that's
All right. Well, I think that they like Wagner, but obviously I think Wagner's gone. I think they like Giddy, but I'm not sure the necessary purpose it serves unless you like want to put him more off ball, because I don't think John Morant, for how good he is, his only like the only way John Morant really works off ball is as a backdoor cutter, and I don't think you want John Morant in that role, so he's going to be your primary ball handler. I don't know what the point is in drafting a 6'9" point guard that can play both on and off ball, that you, unless you're just specifically trying to move him off ball as he fills in as a shooter and defender. I don't know. So like, could they take him? Sure. I'm not sure the message it sends. So I'm going with a little, I'm a little split. I'm thinking, do you want some offense? Do you want some defense? I think you have to take the good with the bad. And, it's down to Corey Kispert and Davion Mitchell for me. And I'm going to take Davion Mitchell because Corey Kispert offers you almost nothing on defense, whereas Davion Mitchell offers you a premium on defense and burgeoning offense, right? I'm taking Davion Mitchell because he feels like a Grizzly. He's like Tony Allen. He's like Ja Morant. He's like Zach Randolph. He just feels like a Memphis Grizzly, and and he's there at number 10 because I think he's good enough to go. I think he's good enough to go at 5, but he's going to be there at 10. I don't think that you can pass up. And their general manager, I'm blanking on his name. I'm really upset about that. But he's done a very, very good job constructing this roster, and I think that this would be a piece that just like really works out in their favor because of how hard he works. He's a national champion. He's a get it out the mud kind of player, and the Grizzlies are a get it out the mud kind of franchise. He slots in perfectly in that lineup as a small forward. I just think that that's the way to go, and that's just. I really want them to take. I really want them to take Davion Mitchell. I really do. But I see Giddy. I can see Giddy too.
I mean, once again, this is the third time this show that you have spoken and grabbed me or Lamar because that was exactly right. I mean, what he would fit into Memphis is exactly what they need, what they're looking for. With Ja would be an amazing pair right there. I love Mitchell's game. I agree with you about him being able to go up that high because if the Magic, who also need that kind of play, took him at number 5 or number 8, I wouldn't be mad at all. Like Mitchell has that kind of potential. And like you said, he may not have the best offensive game right now, but that will come. That can come.
And he works so hard, that it's going to grow. And I'm sorry, the Grizzlies general manager's name is Zach Kleiman. I'm sorry I forgot that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you, and you convinced me. I mean, like I said, all I've heard is them giving away what they were going to do, but that makes so much more sense to me. Lamar, what do you think about Memphis and Mitchell? No, we lost you, Lamar.
You're on mute, Lamar.
Mute.
All right.
There you go.
I got them taking Keon Johnson. I think him and John in the backcourt would be explosive because Johnson is very athletic, kind of small on the weight side, but he's athletic and finished well in the open court. Got a little bit of playmaking ability. Got to get a little bit stronger, but I like them two in the backcourt.
Yeah, like I said, I think that's a theme this year, and they're all going to have to hit the weight room. But So since we went like that, I got one more thing that I wanted to throw in, but I think we've almost answered that already, and that would be the sleepers, the ones that could creep up into number 10. But I believe that Mitchell and Johnson are both of the two that I had down as two that could sneak up somewhere even into that 8, 9, 10 range and would be fine. So do you guys both see it the same way, that those two could be the two?
Yeah.
I think I think those two could fall farther than people expect. I think they could rise farther than people expect. I think the same thing out of Davion Mitchell. I think the same thing out of Scotty Barnes. I think there's a lot of room for shakeup in this draft. There's a lot of room for miscast knowledge. There's a lot of shakeup in the NFL draft a couple months ago, and I think we're roaring for the same thing.
I totally agree, and I think that what we just went through tonight, I think will probably seem funny and moot when it's all over and we see all the changing and the trades and the thing. Yeah, we'll be sitting there going, oh, I never even thought of that. that was a good move. So I mean, I totally agree. It's like that. So that's our top 10 for the NBA draft this year, which is going to be a great draft. It's a great time. I'm looking forward to sitting in with the Magic again, and this will be the second year, and I love it. I love every minute of it, and so I'm really waiting on that. Let's go ahead though, and let's do a final word. So, Liam, why don't you kick us off with the final word?
Daryl Morey, trade Ben Simmons, get my man Joel a new crime partner. I don't care who it is, but I love the balls and the tenacity that you've been going out for with these trades. The trade to the Rockets, the trade proposal to the Raptors, the decline trade from the Pacers. You aren't messing around, my friend. Just don't mess it up. Don't mess around. Don't mess up. Get this guy out of the town. Improve this team like the best GM in basketball knows how to, and do it by tomorrow night, please.
That's great. And somehow I thought that might be coming. Lamar, go ahead and give us your last word.
Be on the lookout for Zaire Williams out of Stanford. I think he's gonna be a good player in the NBA. He didn't play like he was projected to play in Stanford, but he can score the basketballs, good in pick and roll, good off-ball defender, good instincts. Need to get bigger like everybody else need to do. But I think him going later in draft, going to a better team could also help him too. Getting with players and coaches that can help him along the way and stuff. So be on the lookout for him. I think he's going to turn out to be one of the better rookies in this draft.
Great last words, both of you, because I forgot about him too, Lamar. He is really good. I should throw him right up in those other two for one of those sleepers that come up. For me, even though I love the NBA as much as it is, tonight I'm going to switch it up and go to football because fantasy is coming around the corner. We got 6 leagues, you guys, to jump in. I hope both of you are in at least one of those leagues because I plan on winning all of them. And I'm going to start with taking a whole Denver Broncos roster as my roster. Yeah. So that's my last word right there. Mark it down right now. I'm winning my fantasy league with Broncos, and the Broncos are winning the Super Bowl this year. There we go.
This guy.
Bronco.
He said, "Oh my God!"
I got Locke as my quarterback. I'm taking Sutton. I'm taking Judy. I'm taking Fant. I'm taking them all.
Bridgewater.
I'm taking them all. All right.
Bridgewater, the starter.
And I'm winning it all.
So, oh my good God! You are hurt that you didn't get Aaron Rodgers.
No, we're getting Deshaun Watson. Remember?
We don't endorse that until it happens.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it, guys, man. It was great again. Let's get together next week. We have a special guest coming next week, I believe. A little hint, he's an ex-Major League Baseball player. So, Lamar, get your baseball game on.
Yeah, I'll be ready.
Be ready for my man. I will let you guys know more about that. But thank you guys for joining us for this one, and we'll talk more NBA as well when it's over and see how wrong we all were. I appreciate it, Lamar. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Liam. Thank you so much, and we will see you guys next week.
Peace.